Hello, everybody. It's Friday. It's midday, so it can only be wow, Ergonomics. Stephen, how are you?
Hello, very well. Coping so far with school holidays week 1. So we've so far so good.
I have to say, after last week's show, I was pleasantly surprised at how many people commented as the show went out on the Friday, saying what a great conversation it was. It actually was a great conversation.
We did sort of just freestyle it, didn't we? Because we were due to have a guest who, for circumstances beyond everyone's control, couldn't make it. And sometimes it's like, okay, and we started off in one direction, we moved to another, and it just flowed, didn't it? It was really good. Sometimes those are the best shows, are the most unplanned ones, I guess, aren't they?
Yeah, we started off in one direction, we ended up in 5.
Yeah.
I saw 5 the other day.
Did you?
There's only 3 of them. Yeah, there's only 3 of them now, so it's kind of a bit weird.
As in, 2 are no longer with us.
As in, yeah,
right.
That was another band from the 80s. 2 are no longer with us.
I was going to say, you're probably interviewing them next week, aren't you?
Yeah, maybe. I saw 5. I went to a. You'll love this. I went to a kind of 90s pop festival.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was kind of all of the best bits of the 90s.
Right. Wakefield.
It was in Newport at Tredegar House.
Okay.
It was a bit muddy because it had been raining, but it was very good. It was called Party at the Park, not Party in the Park.
Okay.
So 5 were playing. 5 actually opened the main stage.
Okay.
And we also had E17.
Oh, what a treat!
It was. There's only 3 of them now, and actually only one original member. But
right, okay.
But it was great. It was still good. It's still great hearing all of those songs. Heather Small came on and sang all of the old M People.
Yeah.
Favourites. Yeah. Oh,
fabulous.
Fantastic. Oh, we left as Peter Andre was doing his thing.
I was just about to say to you, you've given us all the ones you really liked and really went for. There's got to be a flip side. Was it Peter Andre?
It was. I'm nothing against Peter Andre, but we just wanted to get the bus before everybody else.
How many others joined you in said early bus?
Oh, yeah, quite a few.
Quite
a few. Anyway, we are going to bring on our special guest this week. So enough of the talk of festivals, etc. I'm going to get rid of this and bring in Mills. Hello, thanks for joining us.
Hello, thanks for inviting me. Hi,
that's a great name. I don't know many Mills.
Yeah, no, it's just quite unusual. My mum got it from a book, I think. So.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
I did a poll on people's names and where they came from the other day. It was really interesting reading all of the comments.
Yeah.
Trying to hear all of the history, and also I brought up the subject of middle names. Do you have any middle names?
Helene.
Helene.
So it's Helen with an E on the end, and my mum got it from.
People always go for really odd things in middle names. Not that that's odd, but I've got 2 middle names, D and J. I can't tell you what they are. If I did, I'd have to kill you. But it's just put it this way: my parents hated me, even when I was born, and therefore they gave me these middle names just to torment me for the rest of my life. Did you get any middle names, Stephen?
John, with a H.
That's fine.
I mean, that's crazy, isn't it, really? But it's interesting what you say, though, isn't it? Is it because people are they want to go a little bit different, but haven't quite got the nerve to do it? So they go, we'll go with the wacky-ish one in the middle, because it can sort of be hidden, can't it, later on? But we want to give them it, but we don't want to give it as their name they'll be known as for the rest of their life.
Exactly. Exactly that.
And compromise, isn't it, with partners, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah. No, you can't have that name, but we'll stick it in the middle. There you go. Yeah. At least it would be on the birth certificate somewhere.
Yeah.
Mills, tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
So I'm Mills Ross of 3 Giraffes VA. So I'm a virtual assistant and a social media manager as well. I basically look after people's admin. So people are really busy generally my clients are growing businesses, and they just don't have time to do their business admin anymore. So they delegate it out to me. So things like diary management or a bit of research, travel arrangement, credit control. I've also got one client, actually, I don't look after her business admin, but I look after her home and personal admin. So
Wow.
yeah. So I
That's
book
really
her
interesting.
kids' birthday presents and parties and research restaurants and holidays and things.
Yeah, so it's like a personal PA.
Yeah, which is, I quite enjoy that, because I came from an EA background. So I was an executive assistant. I was working for a big organization for 3 directors. And during COVID, I was working from home, obviously still looking after my big busy teams. And then, just decided we were moving, and I just thought, I can do this virtually, with all the technology, and people are quite used now to doing that. So I decided to branch out and launch my own business. So that's how 3 Giraffes VA got born.
Well, we'll ask you about the 3 Giraffes in a minute, but I'm intrigued by this, the kind of personal aspect of what you're doing for that one client, because that's a brilliant idea. I mean, Stephen and I realised in the middle of the pandemic that actually the amount of people going into sort of VA work, etc., was, growing massively. It showed you something about company culture in a way, that a lot of people sort of left employment and actually, exactly, and went on their own. But I wonder, actually, do you shout about that enough? This kind of look after your personal thing, because I wonder, actually, for a lot of business owners, is it more that other way around? In a way, they, because people get really precious about their business, especially when that's their baby. But is it actually, for a lot of people, all of that other work that they have to do during the day? I mean, I'd love to find someone that can hang their washing out. Do you know what I mean? That actually gets in the way of having the time to run the business in the day.
Yeah, and actually that's quite a good point, because I probably haven't, as you say, put that forward probably enough in my sort of marketing or shouting out to people that that's what I do. Because I think people just don't, it doesn't even occur to them that they could just get someone to do their home services, really. I create a diary for my client, so it's got and share it with her ex, so he knows where the kids are going, and so it's quite collaborative. And I think that's quite a good point. I think I should maybe that's got some ideas, some posts I think coming up now, or a blog post as well.
No, definitely. That's
interesting as well. But I've suddenly been thinking, actually, I need to make my wife not aware of this type of service, because the value I tend to bring is being able to organize stuff at home, not DIY and things. So basically, if I was to find someone to do that, I'm just going to be totally exposed then, aren't I? So we'll keep that between us. But actually, it's a brilliant idea, because Graham, we've done, like you said earlier, we did a couple of shows where we involved the VA community probably a couple of years ago, and we spoke to quite a few people, and I'd never ever thought of it that way round. I'd always thought of it, they get involved in the business to free up the personal life. But actually, if you're a growing business, you need to really invest that time in those business things, and probably need to understand the nitty gritty, the nuts and bolts. And actually, sometimes by passing that on, you're not maybe getting to learn everything and understand where the opportunities are and the risks. So by handing over the birthday things and the kids and all that sort of stuff, actually allows you to sort of learn more about the business as it grows. It just wasn't a concept that I'd thought of. You always think it's that way, but actually that way potentially is the better way whilst businesses are growing and beginning.
I must say, I actually had at one stage, I did have a personal assistant who worked for me, who booked every single trip that I went on.
Okay.
Because it's that aspect is very, very time consuming. When it's like try and find the best hotel at the best deal, work out how you get there, especially if it's like, you've got 2 or 3 days where you're out on the road and it's from there to there to there, and the whole itinerary of that, etc. You can spend 2 or 3 hours of an evening trying to work all of that out and book it. But if you
if you can just outsource it to someone, they can do 2-3 hours, and then that's And it's actually, I mean, from my aspect, I find it quite enjoyable doing the research. It's it's something you can just really get your teeth into.
Do you love it when you save them money?
Yes.
Like on things like, hotels and stuff like that.
Yeah. Or find something that's perfect for them, that they really like, like a good restaurant or hotel as well. Yeah.
I always loved it when I managed to find an absolute beauty of a hotel at the same sort of money as a standard hotel, but where I once got the I don't mind naming names. I once got the Radisson Blu hotel that overlooks the O2.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Fantastic place to sit and have breakfast in the morning. Fantastic. And I got it at the same sort of price as like a normal travel lodge.
Bargain.
And it was fantastic, and it had a spa thrown in, and it had like the breakfast was like everything from like freshly cooked fish to full English to whatever. And as I say, you got to sit and look over the water at the O2 in the morning. And so things like that can really make the difference, can't they?
Yeah.
When you're on a business trip.
Life's little wins as well, isn't it? It's you just think, yes,
they're out there. They're all out there.
Yeah.
What's your favourite part of the job?
I do like diary management actually, and just juggling around people's calendars to make sure everything fits in, liaising with other people. If you need to move things around, that kind of thing. But I also really enjoy social media marketing, which is one other little aspect that I do. I'm sort of working on sort of doing packages for that. But I quite enjoy the creative, like creating posts on Canva and working out the right copy and things and getting the tone of voice for my clients as well. So I find that quite interesting. When I talk to my clients and try to find out about their ideal customer and sort of what their objective is for the social media posting as well. So it's kind of getting into their mind and into their business, and I find that quite interesting.
Tone of voice is an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, I do a similar thing myself. What I tend to, the bit of the conversation that I find interesting is sometimes people expect you to be their voice. And yet I tend to point out to them that actually they've been their voice for many years and it hasn't worked.
You need to change voice.
And actually, you need to change voice. And so therefore it's got to be a version of your voice, but that actually works to bring you business.
Yes, that's right.
You know exactly what I'm saying there. I think sometimes people assume that it's like, well, you've got to be me.
Which is quite unreasonable, really, because it's quite probably quite
you've done you and it don't work.
You've done you didn't work. Actually, you need to be a little bit more this or a little bit more that in order to actually get people to bite. Because you've never told anyone what you do for a start. So by the way, if you hear kids killing each other or anything like that in the background, it's school holidays, folks. We totally understand. It's okay. There's an armistice on any kind of noise, on any kind of video streaming that happens in the next week or so.
No issue.
So tell us about the free giraffes. Where did that concept come from?
So it's always it's a tricky one, trying to find your business name, and it's like you can go with your own name or something you're passionate about or something really interested. And for some reason, I've always been I love giraffes. They're kind of like my little spirit animal, I suppose. And I was just saying earlier to Graham, I've got like a little giraffe corner with, I don't do knickknacks, but I do giraffe knickknacks. So I've just got like a little
well, I suppose leaving business and sticking your neck out, you needed a good name, right?
Yeah, that's very true.
See what you did there, Graham.
Very good. So I suppose one little fact that I learned about giraffes is that when they get to adulthood, they've got no natural predators. So because they literally kick lions away. So
I love that.
Yeah,
isn't that great? Oi, lion!
Get off.
The old size 9s. Have a bit of that.
You think about it. You don't want to go near a giraffe that's angry, do you? Really?
No.
So they just sail around the savannas, nibbling on leaves, and I've got quite a far-sighted view. So I thought that ties in with, my clients. They want to have like a far view of their business. I'm that sort of, well, they can be like the head of the giraffe sailing around, just like getting on with things, and I can be down below on the savannah, sort of dealing with all the business predators sort of down below. But they don't need to worry about that because they can just shrug it off and pass things on to me. So
while you were talking there, by the way, Stephen, for anyone that's listening to this and not watching it on the replay, was actually imitating a giraffe, actually raising his
Craning
neck
the
and
neck,
looking at.
yeah.
I imagine he's looking to see whether someone's delivering something.
Yeah. And I did it, and then thought, oh no, I completely forgot I'm in the show. But it's like, are they coming to the front door or are they not coming to the front door? Is it Amazon or is it Next? So
it just looked like you're nibbling a leaf. So you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
I thought you were just role playing, Stephen. I thought that was
you know,
perfectly natural part of it.
no, that's fine.
One of the things we'd love to ask you about, because we do ask guests about, is you've moved from working in offices, have you, to
Yes.
working for yourself? How have you found that move in terms of your well-being and working from home? Because obviously this show is called Wow Ergonomics. We're concerned with like how people set themselves up at home. Was that a struggle at first, trying to get yourself comfortable?
Not really, because I was working from home during the whole COVID thing, and then we moved, and I've got like my own little office now. So I was off the kitchen table, now I've got like my own office. I've got a comfy, proper office chair as well. And for me, the whole thing of working from home just worked really well, much better than being in an office. I mean, it is nice having some people, but I do quite better on my own, just getting on with things and having sort of less distractions. And sometimes I do like co-working in the nearby town, so that's quite nice. And I do a bit of networking as well. So I've got that. I do mix with other people as well. I don't totally shut myself away. But
I like that. So you are the embodiment of hybrid work. You do, go and,
but on my terms, I suppose, which is
on your terms. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what is it you miss? I mean, if you go back, obviously you're enjoying all the benefits. What do you miss about the office? As I say, what's the thing that can't be replicated at home? Is it just the people bit? Is it just those water cooler moments, bouncing ideas off people?
Yeah. That's probably it, really. I don't really miss too much about the office.
Yay!
That's fine.
Yeah, but
there's no right or wrong answer, by the way. It's
no.
just really good to get like different people's backgrounds and opinions on it. Because,
yeah. No, I just as I say, I just work so much better from home and planning my whole day. And at the moment, I live by the sea, so I sort of get out to do a swim. And I've been swimming all through winter, so with a group called the Blue Tits. So
I love that.
Blue Tits.
That would be me. That would be me if I went swimming. I get so cold.
Yeah. I mean, it's not warm, I have to say. But on the Welsh
coast. Do you wear a swimsuit, like full?
No, you wear a swimming costume, boots, sort of diving boots, diving gloves, and a woolly hat, and that's it.
It's the diving boots to stop you from running out as quickly as possible.
Yeah. you only do in the winter. You're meant to do like 1 minute per degree, so it's
right.
So you're in for like maybe 5 to 10 minutes maximum. So you just bob around, have a chat. It's quite social, and then you just sort of get your dry robe on and scuttle away and get home.
Does it end with a coffee and a croissant? Is what Graham wants to know, basically.
Yeah. We actually take all our thermals down and we stand around. I also get like a hot water bottle, and you shove that down your tracksuit bottoms.
Yeah.
It's not glamorous at all. None of us are glamorous. With their old tracksuit bottoms, like these massive dry robes, and shoving their hot water bottles down your front.
I find the plunge pool at Centre Park's enough of a challenge, to be honest.
That's not pleasant, is it?
Have you tried it?
Yeah, and it's not pleasant.
Some people. Did you know what? Last time we went, somebody worried me profusely because they went in it and they were in there for like 10 minutes, and I was like, "What on earth are you doing?"
Yeah.
Me, I'm like, "Get out! Get out!" There you go. I've done it. Yes.
Yeah.
No. 10 minutes in what was it? -12, something like that. -19. It's something ridiculous.
We were sort of, I think 6 degrees was the coldest last winter. So, and that's Yeah, but it's good. You do feel good with it. Like, and I eased my way in. I started in summer last year, and I just
Okay.
went almost every day. So you sort of ease your way in. Yeah.
In terms of where you get where you've got your ergonomic advice from, in terms of now working at home, where have you sourced that? Because it's interesting
Yeah.
from our point of view. Obviously, when people work in an office, there's a health and safety manager, should be.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
People come around and should make sure that you're working comfortably or whatever. But where do you now
Okay.
find your advice?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I probably haven't gone for any advice, but I've used when I was working in an office, we used to have to do like every year, look at the, like the desk. I can't remember. It's like it was a health and safety thing. You had to sort of sign off to say that, yeah, your desk was comfortable and your chair was comfortable. And if there was any problems, then you'd let them know. So I suppose I've got that. We used to have to do that every year. And my organisation was quite hot on health and safety. So, yeah, I was probably just applying that, but I haven't actually done a proper assessment, maybe, of my own. But,
there you go. Can I ask, and be really pernickety, what are you working on at the moment? Are you laptop? Are you desktop? Are you
Yeah, so I've got my laptop and I've got a bigger screen as well. So I've got the double screen kind of thing. So I'm just looking at you now because obviously that's where I haven't got a camera.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at the laptop camera, but normally I'm on the bigger screen over there. And a keyboard as well. So yeah.
Cool. Well, after you leave us today, what we do want to do is if you could send us a photo of how you're working, we will look at that. And if there's anything we can help you with, we'll send you some kit.
Okay.
In order to improve, and it might be, do you work off paper a lot, or do you just typically work straight onto the screen?
I do like a notepad, so
you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I still like scribbling down really, and then I sometimes transpose it up onto my online.
Graham's got some up. We've got a couple of ideas already, Graham, but we'll wait for the photo of the desk to come through, and we'll sort you out.
Up then.
So. No, don't tidy it. We want to see it warts and all, don't we, Graham?
Okay.
Yeah.
See what we're
it's not that bad.
No. When you're talking to your clients and obviously helping your clients, that is in conversation. It is their well-being something that you talk about much in terms of the way that they work. I mean, actually, I thinking about what you do, the more I think about the work that VAs do in terms of taking off the load, it's part and parcel of good ergonomics, really. If you can take part of what somebody needs to do as grunt work off of somebody else to maybe free up time in their day for them to actually have a break or to do other things, that's helping them with their well-being.
Yes.
But do you ever sort of get into those conversations?
I suppose the diary management, that would be something, because I'd make sure, I'd be like, you have to block things out. You have to block time for lunch or, and actually stick to your things as well. So that's something that I would do. My battery's running out and I just need to grab my charger. Is that okay?
Yeah,
normally
absolutely.
It's on my desk. I was away from my desk yesterday. So sorry.
No,
I'm really sorry. Right, just bear with.
This is real life, folks,
Absolutely. You got people craning.
You can see a good chair there.
See a good chair. You got people craning the necks to look for parcel deliveries. We've got laptops running out. It is absolutely live. Yeah, absolutely.
There we go. Folks, if you're watching this at home and your battery's running out, now's the time to charge it. Yeah. Do you remember years ago? You may not. You're not as old as me, but there used to be adverts when you went to the cinema, and it said, "Now's the time to buy ice cream." I used to love that advert in the cinema. Yeah, and it was actually that. Yeah. And
we need. Yeah. Sorry, Graham.
And I was going to say, and that was the point where the little people used to come in with their ice creams and whatever, and they used to serve you in the cinema.
Yeah.
Do you remember Now's the Time for Ice Cream in cinemas?
No, but I remember sort of usherettes and things. Or
usherettes, yeah.
Torches to show you down to your seat. You used to stumble down, don't you?
You used to get this little advert that came on before they came in, and it went, "Now's the time for ice cream." It stuck with me all my life because I just think Yeah, now is the time for ice cream.
When
Doesn't
is
actually
time
have
for
to
ice
be
cream?
that time. It could be
Yeah.
any time. Now's the time for ice cream.
Isn't the one at the moment, I can't remember which cinema it is, where just as the film's about to start, it says now's the time to switch off your mobile phone and all this sort of
there's
stuff.
always
So
that
which
one.
isn't as good as ice cream, but
No,
And you know
no.
what? Nobody does. Nobody does it.
Still see 'em, don't you?
What everybody does is they pretend to switch off their mobile
Yeah.
phone. They get their mobile
Yeah.
phone,
Oh.
go out. Oh yeah, I better put that on silent.
Yeah.
Midway through the film,
Yeah.
I got a message. It's true though. It's absolutely true.
I used to live in Asia actually for a while, and when I used to go to the cinema there, this is a while ago, but yeah, people's phones would go off and they just sit there having a conversation in the middle of the film, but nobody was telling them like, "What are you doing?" Everyone was like,
No, rude.
I'd like to bring Mills in this conversation before she has to go today, which is I actually canvassed everybody on a poll the other morning about network events. Do you have to do any networking, Mills, in order to get new business?
Yes. So I was actually at an event yesterday, a face-to-face one.
Cool.
Yeah. So this is a monthly one. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No. Do tell us about it. What is it?
Yeah, so it's a monthly one. I think so before I moved here, I think they stopped because of COVID. And so it's their first one back for a couple of years. And I think they do it every month. And it's quite, everyone had to do like a 1-minute pitch. And then he got us all to sort of move around, have little one-to-ones, and then like a little group discussion at the end and a bit of breakfast. So it was really nice. I found it, and I've done it with another group as well, which was a weekly one. And that, again, you're just mixing with other business owners. And that thing you were saying about going from an employee to a business owner, I think for me, psychologically, I didn't realise quite how difficult. Well, it's not difficult, but the imposter syndrome kicking in, So it's like, because I was still an employee and I'm not really a business owner because, I just do a bit of admin, that kind of thing. So it's been useful going to networking events with other business owners to actually get over that, I think.
Yeah, I think you have to hear the experience of other business owners to realise that actually you all feel the same way.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome hits everybody, I think, in small business land. It's part and parcel of what's there. But I was asking, and I was being controversial about it as well by actually saying,
you, Graham. Unlike you.
No, I was saying perhaps we need to ban them, right? Because they're anything else is just sort of a midway house. But I wanted to see where people's opinions were on it. So I said, should we ban mobile phones at networking events, in-person networking events? Because what it was, I saw a reel that morning that someone had put up on LinkedIn from a networking event the night before. And I mean, it's partly the person who'd filmed it. It's that it was they were to blame because why they chose this particular footage. But out of this minute-long video, probably about half the video were people doing this.
Yeah.
At a networking event.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking and asking the question that, what's the point of going to a networking event that's in person if you're then going to spend that time on the phone? How do we feel about
that? To me, as you say, you've nailed it there. If you're going along there to engage with people face to face, is anything that important that you can't maybe turn your phone off for an hour? Which I guess some of these events are maybe sort of, time limited to probably an hour and a half, if they're like Mill said, for sort of breakfast. So, yeah, I mean, to me, that's just good housekeeping, isn't it? Really, just saying, look, hang on, guys, we're here to network, we're here to engage. If you want to get the most from it, if you're going to get up and come along to this event to get the most from it, let's put those little devices over there and you can pick it up at 9 o'clock or whatever. So I think basic common business courtesy would be to put them to one side for the duration of that event.
Yeah, I mean, it's just good manners, isn't it, really? Like you said, it's but I think the good manners and mobile, the connection isn't there anymore. It's like gone out the window because it is addictive. People are addicted to.
People made in sort of defence of using a phone at these things people made some great points, which is one was a very valid point, which was accessibility. There might have been people there that actually needed to use their phone from an accessibility point of view, and maybe convert a conversation or something like that in order to be able to take part. Totally au fait with that. Totally happy with that. Don't have a problem with that at all.
No.
A lot of people were saying, but I like to do like the QR code scanny thing on LinkedIn when I'm at these events. I don't use business cards anymore, so it's a great way of connecting. Or they said, if you think you recognize someone but then don't know their name, you probably will go on LinkedIn and go, who is that person? Now, I was the more and more I thought about that, though, as their kind of take on it, I was thinking, well, if you can't remember their name, how are you going to look them up on LinkedIn?
Yeah.
He was 5'11". He was from Bristol.
So as far as I'm aware,
he's about 50. Yeah.
LinkedIn doesn't have the search facility at this moment in time where you can actually put in somebody's, or you can sort of Google lens their face and it goes, mind you, that's a great idea, LinkedIn, where you can Google lens their face and it goes, that's this person.
Then you may as well just ask their name if you're saying, "Oh, can I just take a photo?"
And that's exactly what I said, because some young whippersnapper said, these days I use my phone to kind of find out all of the things about somebody if I'm at an event so that I know how to talk to them. And I said, years ago, we used to talk to people to find out all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And that was part of networking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's part of a conversation, isn't it? What's your name? What is it you do? Tell me a little bit about yourself. We started off like that today.
And even if you've forgotten someone's name, I mean, I wouldn't be offended if someone said, "Oh, look, I'm really sorry, I forgot your name." We met, 2 months ago or something. I'd be like, "Yeah, it's Mills." So I'm not going to be like, "Oh, I'm not going to talk to you." Like that's not a thing. And if they are like that, then they're probably not worth talking to, are they? Really?
You wonder whether we've just lost the ability to kind of have these social conversations in some ways. If people are kind of relying on phone technology to start the thing off, or try and get themselves so prepared beforehand, to me that just speaks of a lack of kind of social skills that enable someone to just waltz into a room and talk to whoever regardless.
I mean, it has to be the fact that if social media and technology has grown and developed, off the scale as it has, something has to have gone the other way, doesn't it? For one thing to have done that level of growth, something has to have gone the other way, and that's that ability, as you say, Graham, to naturally interact. That people need that device to have a one-to-one conversation. And I thought it was really interesting what you said there, Graham. You sort of gave the reasons why people were using the phone, and I think it was interesting. The most plausible and acceptable one was what you started with, which was the accessibility piece. 100% get that. Then it was the bit about the QR code, and I'm thinking, okay, it's sort of dropping. And then when you got to the fact of the sort of the research, it's a bit like, hang on a second, that's just not really plausible. There are reasons, but it sort of declined in terms of relevance as you went through those, and you're thinking, I'm not even convinced you actually believe that yourself. You're just trying to.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, some people were even saying, "Oh, yeah, love network events where you get some kind of gamification on your phone and you can answer questions and all of that." It's like,
you see, that's almost like I was saying it is an addiction. Like an addict will justify their use of something with the most ridiculous things, won't they? Really? So it's almost like
For anyone that was listening to this, Stephen was then holding up his phone and typing into it just to demonstrate that nobody's escaping looking at their phone. I think we are all overly addicted to our phones. I think actually we need to deliberately create spaces in our day-to-day life where we don't use technology. I think we have to do it, because otherwise we lose those social skills. We lose that ability to talk to other people. We lose the ability to just be in a moment without a phone.
Yeah.
It's the same as, when you go somewhere, right, that's, looks great and whatever. what's the one thing that everyone does? They get out their phone. I need to take a photo of it.
Mm.
You know?
I've never got that. It's
Yeah.
just like I was there. I don't really need a photo because I was there.
Try it, folks. Sometime.
Yeah.
Try it, folks. Sometime. Just go somewhere and don't have your phone out, and then just talk to somebody else about the memory.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you find that actually, Mills? I'll ask you about that. Do you find that people struggle in when you're reading their posts, etc.? Do you think that they struggle with the creative side of things, partly because they never use that skill? They never use language to describe anything that they see in front of them anymore. It's just take a photo and there it is, or whatever. Is that kind of lacking from our kind of narrative and our vocabulary these days? The ability to look at something and talk emotively enough about it, or in a descriptive way enough about something that it then shows that to other people. Because I think a lot of our language has got dumbed down via social media.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because like the new style of posting, and I do it myself because I think it does kind of work to get some engagement, strangely, but it's that keeping everything like really small sentences, just bullet points. You can explain bits on it, but a lot of the newer style posts are very much short sentences. Don't elaborate on anything. Keep it really, really simple. Don't use big words. And I mean, there's a time and a place for big words, and that, for descriptive things as well. But yeah, definitely the newer style, I think, on social media is just to keep it maybe slightly oversimplified, because people's attention span isn't enough to go, oh, look, there's 3 paragraphs I can read here. It's like, no, I just want 3 bullet points and then move on. So I think it is.
And I think that's fine in terms of getting people initially sort of hooked onto something. But I mean, it's one of the reasons why we do this, for example, because something like the field of ergonomics isn't a simple, put 3 points up on a post and everybody understands it, And when you actually, even if you think about it, you can say about 10 times as many words in a minute as you can write.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in terms of getting that information over to people without taking up a huge amount of their time, verbal or video-based information is so much better, because it's, there we can explain something quite complex, quite difficult, not necessarily using difficult language, but we can, by talking about it between us, we can actually explain these things to people in a far better way than if we expected them to read 10,000 words on a LinkedIn article. I mean, we've seen the death of LinkedIn articles, really. I don't know whether anybody reads LinkedIn articles particularly anymore. No. Because nobody has the time for that at all.
I think I've clicked on some, and then it's just like, oh, I'm just going to just read the first line of each paragraph until I get to the bottom. So I'm saying about attention span, but I'm guilty of it as well. But you just don't have the time for all that.
I find with LinkedIn especially, I quite like it when posts are punchy, to the point. I am a bit of your 3 bullet point man. I have to say, some of them where the text goes on and on and on, I just scroll up and just go to the next post. I have to say it doesn't keep my attention. Just lots and lots of words, and maybe that's just me, but I need this. Give me the story. Get me interested in it. When I don't look at the text closely, but you just look at the outline, blocks of words, you just move on. It just doesn't. Words have got to me also, that how a post looks has got to be interesting.
Yeah.
Something about bullet points and short things and bits and pieces.
And space as well.
Yeah, a big block of words, you've lost me. Even if it's the most interesting thing in the world, you've lost me. I've just moved on, because it doesn't draw me in, doesn't get my interest.
Do you find, Mills, that when you first talk to clients about their social media, for example, do you find that actually just when you're listening to them and you're having those initial conversations, do you ever say, stop? I can see your problem right from now, because actually you've talked at me for 10 minutes and you still haven't explained what it is that you do.
You haven't, but you'd like to.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe a bit more tactful.
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, we know that.
That's my technique. But I mean,
I might take on board.
Yeah. It only works with certain kinds of clients. Let's just say it that way. But I just think that's one of the problems that I see, is that actually people know themselves what it is that they do, and they understand what it is in their head. They feel that they understand the value that they offer to everybody else. But actually, when they start to explain it, it gets completely lost. And nobody else really understands what they do, and they're like, "What do they do? What? Hey, they do? I think they do something to do with Do they? I have no idea." You know,
I think I've been guilty of that myself. I've been trying to refine my sort of pitch, or the way I explain myself, because I think I fall into the trap of thinking, well, it's admin. Like everyone knows what admin is, don't they? And how I could help. And but yeah, I was talking to someone on a coaching group, and he sort of said he came away thinking he didn't really understand quite how I could help him. But I think that was more on the delegation side of how would it actually work. So yeah, it's interesting. Having somebody else's viewpoint of something that you think, but it's obvious. You just hire me and give me some admin. That's what it is. Tell me what to do in your social. Yeah, but Steve, actually, it is more complicated.
Does that sort of tally over into a company that sell products as well? I mean, when you're talking to people, if the simpler you can get the message, do you find it then becomes more effective?
Yeah, absolutely.
In terms of the end user?
I do, and it got me thinking back to a little bit to last week's show. When we were talking, Graham, about not assuming that everyone knows everything that you do as a business. So the conversation we had last week, Mills, was we were talking about when I go into, when you get taken into an end user customer, is actually, if you assume that they know what your products are, even though they're quite obvious to you, a lot of the time they don't. And a lot of the time you're missing out on an opportunity to actually make their life a bit more productive and healthy and add value. But sometimes you can get into the trap of assuming they know what it is because you think it's such an obvious product. I have to say, Graham, I find the most effective way with what we do as a product manufacturer, and I think this relates to a lot of manufacturers in the ergonomic sector, is actually people touching and feeling the product and using it and having it in their hands and understanding. You can do some fantastic product videos. You can do great websites. You can do all these different things, but you cannot beat, from a manufacturer's perspective, putting a product in someone's hand and going, "That's what it is. This is what it will do. Give it a go." And I think that ultimately is the way as designers and makers of product, is to get them actually using it. You cannot beat that. But tied in with that, making sure you've got your story, get your whole, the admin piece. People may assume a VA is admin, and yeah, it is, but it's probably, and what we've learned today, is it's only a small part of the overall package and offering that you would offer to your clients, Mills.
Yes, it's definitely. I agree with that. Yeah.
I try and do a similar thing, actually. I try and I bully them into it, but I typically start by saying, "You will collaborate with me on a piece of content," and I get people into doing a piece of content with me, and that shows them the value of them doing that kind of content with me. Because I think actually people don't understand until you take them through the process. And I've gained 2 or 3 clients this year. It's been a light bulb moment. They've been on air with me doing something, and they've gone, "Oh yeah,
yeah,
this is what you do. This is how it works. Okay, I get it now. Yeah, I need more of this in my life." So yeah, it's always a good way to go. I'd like, Mills, as a piece of advice, I'd like to see you pushing more the because I definitely don't see other VAs doing it. Pushing I will save you time in your personal life so you have more time for your business, as well as the other way around. Because I think that's a great one. I think there's loads of people out there who probably don't want to let their baby go.
Yes.
find that bit difficult, but would understand it if you said, look, I can take out all of your sort of, diary organization. I could make sure that, all of your journeys and your accommodation and all of that is booked. I can do all of that stuff in the background that helps you then have time for your business. That's really great.
Yeah, that's a good takeaway, today. So that's great.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Well, it's the only takeaway I'm having at the moment because I'm on this strict diet at the moment. Just to give everybody an update, it's going very, very well. I was naughty over the holidays because I had a little mini break last weekend, so I did eat for 4 days. But I am about 1.5 stone down now.
Well done, you.
So I'm going to carry on. Hopefully, lose another stone.
Perfect.
And I'll let you know how that goes. The aim is to get off the statins and the pills and all of that sort of thing, and become healthy and fit again, like I was once upon a time when I was 21, which was a long time ago.
Yeah. You say that before we do.
Yeah, that's another whole show. Talking about what age we perceive ourselves as. Maybe we'll bring that up as a topic another time. Thank you to our guest today, Mills. So thanks so much for joining us.
Well, thank you very much.
Do check out Mills on LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn, do connect with her. Do go and chat with her, find out a bit more about her business. Do send us that photo, Mills, so that we can see how we can sort out your workspace. We will be back next week with yet another show. Until then, stay fit and healthy out there if you can. Look after yourselves and work well. Bye for now.